All right, you got a ball, boys? All right, good. Let's get it moving. All right, so we want to try to stay in a little space here, and we're going to start off with the 6 principles of dribbling. All right, so the first principle of dribbling is to keep the ball on your foot. Good. So make sure you are moving the ball. The ball's not moving you. Notice how these guys are touching the ball about every step they take so that they can control the ball. A lot of touches on the ball. It's never out in front of them. Guys, show us a little bit of what a poor dribbling would look like in terms of getting the ball away from your foot. Let's see what it looks like.
Something like this.
Okay, so you see how Nate's chasing the ball. We don't want to chase the ball, we want to move the ball. And let's play, well, let's go ahead and move on. So, our second principle of dribbling is that we move our feet quickly. All right, so as you guys dribble, let's see a lot of touches on the ball. A lot of touches on the ball as you move it. Good. So when we move the ball quickly, when we need to accelerate, it's not always pushing the ball and chasing it in an open space. That'll work. But in tight spaces, we need to accelerate. We need to still keep the ball on our foot. The solution there is to move your feet quickly, get more touches on the ball. Okay, so instead of moving the ball farther, move your feet faster. Okay, good and free. Good. Notice how these guys are in a tight space. All right, they're experienced dribblers. So this is something that they're already doing intuitively. But the third principle of dribbling has to do with our vision. All right, where do we look when we're dribbling the ball? Do I look up here in the camera, up at Coach Corey's beautiful self? He's got his freshly made hair and his eyes are looking great. Yeah, there we go, thumbs up. So, all right, so we're not looking up here. We're not looking for eye contact with everybody on the field. We're not checking out Coach Nate and seeing if he's wearing his glasses today or not. We're seeing what Tori's doing with her hair. See what Coach Kennedy, what kind of bling he's got going on today. We're not looking down at our ball either, okay? So our head is in here. Okay, we need to find that middle ground, okay, looking out in front of our ball. Right now, I can see Tori's playing with her ball a little bit. All right, I can see Nate just moved a little bit. I can still see my feet. So I see the ball with the bottom of my eyes. I see the rest of the field with the top of my eyes. So, guys, as you dribble, let's keep it on our foot. Go ahead. Let's move our feet quickly. And let's make sure that our vision is we're looking 2 full steps out in front of our ball so we can see what else is happening around us. We've got to see the field around us so we can be smart players. Good, Kennedy, good. Way to avoid that contact. Good. And free, good. All right, great stuff, good. So that's our third principle of dribbling. The fourth principle, this is where it gets a little bit more complicated. This is where it gets a little bit more challenging. We want advanced dribblers. We want dynamic dribblers. And this is where we start to see that. Because we're going to keep the ball on 1 foot at a time. Okay, we want to keep the ball on the outside of our body as we move it. So 1 foot is moving our body, 1 foot is moving the ball. Okay, and let's play. All right, see if we can incorporate all 4 of those dribbling principles. Good. It doesn't mean we only use 1 foot. It means we use 1 foot at a time. The ball is on a shoulder. It's not on our belly button. The ball is on a shoulder. Good, Tori, good. Way to shift from foot to foot as well. Good. All right, notice how they're able to move the ball and they're able to move their body with the ball. All right, so this is where we start to see that dynamic ability when they use 1 foot at a time. Let's see using both feet. Let's see what it looks like when maybe an inexperienced dribbler is out here on the field. Yes, good, good. So see how much slower that is. We also will notice that they can't be as dynamic, so they don't have the same options right here. Yeah, y'all can take a little break. Y'all been working hard. As you show me that poor technique. Go ahead. Good. So Nate's not ready to shoot the ball. He's not ready to pass the ball. He's not ready to change direction. He's not ready to be explosive. He's not ready to move his body around the ball because he's using both feet at the same time. All right. Ball's in the middle of his body. It's caught up under his feet. If he's back to 1 foot, now let's go, guys. Let's go. Now back on 1 foot. Now he's ready to be dynamic, okay? Again, that doesn't mean we only use 1 foot, but we use 1 foot at a time. The fifth principle of dribbling. Okay, guys, the fifth principle of dribbling. These guys have already been doing it. Again, these last 2 are where we see creativity come into play, where we see those special dribblers come into play. So the 5th rule of dribbling is to use all surfaces of your foot. All right? So, what's one surface that we can use, Tori? Okay, the outside of the foot, that's mainly what we want to use. Use only the outside of your foot, guys. All right, so as we're dribbling, we want to mainly use the outside of our foot. Okay, that allows us to be in that position to play quickly, to move, change directions, to pass, to strike, to shield, whatever it is, if we've got the ball on the outside of our foot. So watch me here, Corey. All right, so a lot of people, their instinct is to use the inside of their foot. The problem with that is you know, how often do we run a sprint like this? Okay, so it's a little bit in terms of our mechanics, it's just not as natural as, you know, if you're able to move like this using the outside of your foot. Okay, that's mechanically a little bit more natural in terms of our running motion as well. So what's another part of the foot we can use, Nate? The sole of the foot. All right, so these are the two most our two favorite parts of surfaces in terms of learning to dribble and be a dynamic dribbler are the outside of the foot and the sole. All right, guys, let's see you guys dribble with only those two surfaces. All right, notice that with the sole of their foot now, they can come across their body. Using only the outside of your foot, you cannot dribble across your body. You can only turn outside. But with the sole of their foot, as Tori drags the ball across her body, then we can see that we can cut across our body. Well done. This is where a lot of creativity comes into play too. When we get to our next principle, when we combine these last two, the fifth and sixth principles, we can really see some creativity and some nice stuff. Okay, and Kennedy, what is the third part of the foot that we can use? All right, we place this outside of the foot. You know, that's the same basic technique. So we've used the outside of the laces. We've used the sole of the foot. What else? Yes, the inside of the foot. Okay, now, all right, let's give you guys a break. Kennedy's breathing hard. He's supposed to go to trial right now in New Zealand. So he's not up to 90 minutes fit. We'll get him there. So using the inside of your foot, that should not be predominantly the main surface that we use to dribble. All right, the inside of the foot is going to be used for our first touch sometimes as we're receiving the ball. It's going to be a cut that we take across our body. It's going to be a hop chop that we take behind our leg. It's going to be used in there are certain situations where we definitely want to use the outside of the foot, but it's not our predominant main technique in terms of our dribbling. But let's add that in there, guys. So we're using with all three surfaces and play. Good. So notice that when they use the inside of their foot, it's to do something specific. All right, it's not to just carry the ball forward. When they're using the inside of their foot, it's a cut, or it's they're setting up another move, or they're moving the ball across their body, but it's not in itself really a dribbling technique. Okay, guys, freeze, good. All right, guys, we're into our sixth and final principle. Whew. Take a breath. Take a breath. Take a breath. How are we doing, guys? Good. Tori once more. All right, so the sixth principle, again, is where we really get into some special dribblers. We move our body around the ball. Okay, so this is where we get into some scissors. Tori, show us some scissors. Show us the scissors. All right, good. And we get into a step over. Nate, show us a step over. Good. And show us just a face shot. Okay, good. So those are all examples of moving your body around the ball. We avoid teaching players this move and this move and this move. We'll do a good bit of that, especially now when we're limited in our coaching ability. But ideally what we want out here are intuitive dribblers. Dribblers that can solve a problem using their creativity and reading the game so that they don't approach a defender or come into a game and knowing this move and this move, but they can approach a defender, and as they're approaching that defender, they can read that defender, they can read the space around them, and then they can intuitively do whatever move it takes to get into that space behind or beside or wherever. So, guys, let's see you guys moving and moving the ball, all six principles here. And let's see if we can show some creativity in terms of how we're moving our body around the ball. So, yeah, good. Lots of step over. Let's remember to keep it in a tight space here too, guys. Let's remember to keep it in tight. Good. So where are scissors? Where are our deeps, our fakes, even just changing the ball from your right left from your right foot to your left foot is going to take. This is a creative skill. It's also very much a basic skill, just something that we need to be comfortable moving around the ball and comfortable as we move the ball with our feet.